What's up, Faith Family? Jarvis God of War, Jarvis YT here, and welcome back to another Diecast review. Today, we're taking a look at the Hot Wheels Snoopy car from the 2016 Hot Wheels Screen Time line of cars. Now, I'm going to say this right up front, and I know that some people might get on to me for this, but I do not like the Peanuts comic strip. Something about it, man, and I'm a very, I used to be a very avid reader of comic strips before the newspapers decided to price out my family from reading them. But I used to read all the comics back in the day, like Luann, Pearls Before Swine, Dilbert, Non Sequitur, Mallard Fillmore, just the classics, and I loved them. The art in those comic strips, they were very simple, but you could feel a level of complexity and depth and history to them. And even Peanuts was no exception. So whenever I got the paper, it was always on the front page, and I would take a look. And man, this comic was just never funny to me. Maybe it's because the humor was a bit too adult, went over my head at the time. I never really got it. Like whenever Snoopy was having his adventures as the friggin' Red Baron, which I assumed that this car is supposed to emulate. I was just never really into it. I was just kind of glazed at Peanuts. Maybe once a year I would chuckle. And since I read like maybe 40 of these Peanuts comics a year, it's not good that I'm only laughing one out of 40 times. So really, it's amazing to me that it stayed in the paper so long. But no, I was just never really into Peanuts. And there are the like holiday specials, like the Charlie Brown Christmas specials, but I never really got into those either since I never saw them too often. But all that circles back around to this cast. Those are my preconceived notions of the franchise that would affect my opinion of this car. And honestly, I think this is fairly well made. I think that while there are some serious drawbacks to this car and some clear areas of laziness, and we'll get to that, I do think that overall this car is pretty well built, and the concept behind it is pretty cool for kids and adults. Yeah, moving into the negative. Let's just get the negative, right out of the way up front, since we've already established that tone for the video. If you look at the, I guess, Snoopy mold that they have up here, you notice a few issues. First of all, the insides of the ears are not painted, and I don't know if this is really a manufacturing limitation or what, but I do just think it looks tacky. It really does look tacky. It really does detract from the thing when you look at it from many angles, like the back 45-degree angle. It's just, I don't know. And the nose, that's not very well done, because the black paint doesn't even go all the way around the nose. It looks sort of half-assed. The only real element of the painting that isn't half-assed are in the eyes, and I think those are pretty faithful to the actual comic. But everything else is just sort of subpar. I mean, the painting down here isn't bad, but I think it was more just the base of the car and the actual red doghouse are two different components, so they could just afford to have those both be their individual colors and not have to worry about mixing the paint or whatever. And you also have this silver engine here. It's unpainted, but I think it does add very well to the overall color scheme of the thing, and it just overall fits very well. But yeah, on that positive note, the doghouse is pretty well constructed, pretty well sculpted. This seems pretty faithful to what was in the comic. Remember, Snoopy had a red doghouse. I mean, I'm not gonna go back and check to see if it's completely accurate, but this seems about right. And I think the overall concept of this car, Snoopy, he's flying as the Red Baron character, or more likely he's just driving a fast car. I do think that the overall concept of the car works very well, and it'll make it fun for kids and adults, because kids will be happy to have a novel-looking diecast with a silly looking dog on it, and a cool souped up exposed engine. That'll be very cool. And adults, if they have some nostalgia for the Peanuts franchise, and if they actually have a genuine connection to it, unlike me, then I think that they'd enjoy it. So this has some real value to it. But yeah, moving on into recommendations. This car came out in 2016, as I said in the beginning of the video, so there is a bit of a scarcity factor for it. And I'm not sure how recently this was cast, but if you can't find anything after 2020, then this isn't even worth looking for, because this is just one of those cars that you know is going to be poached and marked up to high hell. And as a viewer of Diecast reviews, I really don't want you falling victim to that type of stuff. I don't want you to be that desperate for a Diecast car to the point where you start making piss poor purchasing decisions. That I never want you to resort to that. And for this 2016 car, this is really tough to recommend. But I think with that, that'll wrap up this Diecast review. I've been your host, Jarvis Godden. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to stick around for more Diecast content. And as always, giggity, 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 goo. Stick around.